from the rest of Hollywood's figures, just programming the American youth to center all their attention on sex and material growth. The historical men who made the Renaissance era impactful had actually done things to revolutionize the way we think and understand our world. Many of them were sentenced to death because they dared to tell the truth and stood up to the powers who used fear to repress the truth from the people. You, on the other hand, have changed nothing. Yes, we acknowledge all your talent, Mr. West. But we also acknowledge that you have a large voice, bankloads of money, and a strong following, and no one man should have all that power. But, with all of that, one man can change the world. Instead you waste that powerful opportunity and pollute the planet even more with your bickering, loudmouth, overgrown ego, annoying influence, and missionless message. You have no foundation on what it is exactly you were even set here to do for this planet, with all that money of yours. Fashion shows are not going to make the world a better place, Mr. West. You don't have all the answers. Your priorities are warped by the Hollywood celebrities that you're surrounded by. In case you haven't noticed, we're now living in a mad world that is falling apart, and your obsessive interest in fashion will not benefit anything meaningful to help humanity's future in it. It is a complete waste of time. But sadly, you probably will never see yourself in this way. Deep inside of your incredibly large mind, the world is already perfect, and it has no need for any heroes. And it is a pity, because your blind sight will never allow you to see just how empty your accomplishments really are to the future of our species. You represent yourself as a man of class, yet everything you say and do is the exact opposite of that. And for that, Anonymous would like to extend a sincere and jolly fuck you. You will always be the hot-headed, Chicago-born spoiled little brat that you are, and no expensive designer wear can ever cover that up. Anonymous is sounding off the new Renaissance era this year for humanity, and if you don't shape up, then your legacy will not be included. Poor examples, such as yourself, will not be tolerated anymore in the new age.
You got the power to let power go.
We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
People in the face after they deliver monumental feats in music. You're disrespectful to inspiration, and we as musicians have to inspire people who go to work every day.
Okay, now that was obviously only audio from this latest message from Anonymous. However, you have to see the visuals. Type in Anonymous Kanye West on YouTube, and you will see just some amazing visuals. They really put this together well. But the message comes through. Kanye West is a spoiled brat from Chicago. Now, that takes us to Anonymous. I mean, let's think about Anonymous for a minute. Anonymous is synonymous with hacking and breaking into computer systems and doing all that type of junk, but they're becoming a message. They're becoming a standard bearer of messages of good. I mean, it is so strange. They're talking about hacking ISIS. They're talking about, they're obviously going after Kanye West. Their most recent video about Barack Obama was thoughtful and intriguing. These guys are smart. And it's not... See, the thing is, if you go back in history, the story of Guy Fawkes, which is the mask that Anonymous wears, is a very, very interesting story of a man who was basically, I don't know if he was a Robin Hood type, but he was somebody who fought for the rights of people who didn't have rights. And it just seems like the message here is that Anonymous, they're talking about a new revolution. What a trip that would be if Anonymous was the harbinger of a better time. If a group of computer hackers and a group of people who basically find targets and spread their message about them and everything else, if this group of people is the harbinger of a better time in America, it's such an interesting concept. I mean, in fact, I'm looking on here and there's a video that says, "Who is anonymous?" Well, let's have a listen.
It is unfortunate that I must first make these statements, but it is a pressing matter that needs to be addressed. Is Anonymous a hate and cyber terrorist or an activist for freedom and truth? No. Yes. Anonymous beginnings make it difficult to understand the entity. Anonymous is simply ideas without origin. May it be a phrase, a fad, a proverb. The concept of anonymous has always existed. The anonymous that we know now, the one currently aligned against the Church of Scientology, which crimes and dangers are well documented, so I will not cover them here. Anonymous started as an image board in Japan nearly a decade ago, a place where there were no rules, no topic, no identity, images and text with no authorship. The only control was whether a post was enjoyed or simply deleted from lack of interest. The individual isn't measured. Slowly, through repetition and this unique natural selection, popular ideas duplicated and developed into memes. These memes would be incorporated into new ideas. Evolution of thought. Eventually, another image board was built in the likeness for the English-speaking world. Quickly, it grew in scope and influence. A public club with secret members, an ecosystem of thought. The diversity of Anonymous is as vast as the human condition, thus as the way of the universe, the good with the bad, the left with the right. A place where the age of a post is measured in seconds, change is instant, and it is total. Anonymous is the sum of its members divided infinitely. When Anonymous was young, it was immature and childlike, while the majority was simply for entertainment and creativity. The darker and more sinister aspects slowly pooled in the shadows. Soon this poison spread, and Anonymous found itself with a choice. Either continue to let the natural chaos, or to go against the very purpose of Anonymous. Those who controlled the medium, the servers, made the fateful decision to purge these cruel and disgusting segments. A great war waged for what is nearly an eternity in the time of the internet. This underbelly broke off and formed their own image boards, where they could do as they wished outside the original. The majority of these splinters were of that same dark and perverse world. Over time, these niches died or consolidated. They are the ones who have done such harm. They are racist because it is offensive. They are sexually perverse because it is outlawed. They are cruel because they can. Yet we cannot disown these aspects of Anonymous as much as we can disown the human race. They are nearly everything the majority stand against and can only survive in isolation. Except they are the ones who dare. They are the ones who dare to stand against the racist radio. They are the ones who, maybe out of guilt, brought a pedophile to justice. They are the ones who dared to think freely without regard for others. And they may have started the meme that has grown so large. For all their crimes, they may have just started this whole thing. But with Anonymous, there is no authorship. Their claim is no more valid than the individual's claim to existence. They are simply a spark, but not the fire. Now, the sum of Anonymous has changed even more. Every day, the immaturity and disgust is diluted by the intelligent and the educated, those who are motivated to take up the cause. Anonymous has grown out of the image boards, out of the internet, and into the world we know, the world in which we live. We have grown and are growing. Every mistake we learn. Every failure we regenerate. Every success we build on. There is no control, no leadership, only influence. The influence of thought. And now it is time that I go, but I will be seeing you on the other side.
Well, that was a explanation of what is anonymous. A little 5-minute blurb that was rather vague in nature, but basically what I got out of it was that anonymous is a free-thinking group of radicals, just like many free-thinking individuals throughout time, similar to the Knights Templar, similar to various other groups in history that have some sort of mystery or mystique behind them. However, they are, it's more of an idea. It's more of a spread out idea that is carried out by numerous people. So it's very interesting as far as who Anonymous is. Now, we know of a group on this platform called the Bill Wagner Crew, and they do have their own... I can't help but draw parallels. If you ever speak to the guys in the Bill Wagner Crew that are on Spreaker, they are very intelligent. They have ideas that are pretty transcendent. I mean, they're not dummies to do what they do. And they have, in a couple of instances, actually delivered a sort of justice to not only Spreaker, but to the real world. I mean, they go after pedophiles. They get into other sorts of causes, but their main focus is to basically cause havoc, which is what the guy talked about here. Seems like the Bill Wagner Crew would be somewhat of a splinter cell, but maybe not related. I don't know, but I couldn't help but draw parallels there. So anyway, Anonymous is. It seems to be they're this growing faction. They're going to get bigger and bigger the more people glom onto this movement. And the funny thing about it is, it's not even, you can't grab it. You can't locate it. You can't pin it down. You can't just quantify it. It's almost like guerrilla warfare. You can't go after it. And it's very interesting. The ideas and all of that. I mean, people have been free thinkers throughout time. Then again, there are a lot of sheep. In fact, I'd say 80% to 85% of the world are sheeples. And it's groups like Anonymous. It's groups like the Lutherans back in Martin Luther's time, Calvinists, people who fight against the grain that seem to make the most change in the world. So all this going back to, all this stemming from Kanye West, which is really strange, but basically I got to agree with their discussion about Kanye West, because Kanye West and his wife are putting forth these ideas that I'm sure that they wouldn't want to have their kid participate in, and it's just really extremely sick that they brought a child into this world and that they're doing all of this stuff. It's so funny, the clip of Anonymous where it shows Kanye West and it shows him talking at the Grammys. The look on Kim's face, her eyes get huge as she's watching him just babble on. Now, I wonder if Anonymous has done any work on Kanye's computers or files or anything like that, and that's maybe why he's looking to leave the country. And as far as racism goes, Anonymous isn't a racist group. I mean, as they said, there are hateful sections and everything else, but you always, in every group, whether it be Anonymous, something as vacuous as Anonymous, or you have something as like the Islamic State. You have the Islamic